So, let's talk about Shrinepunk.
No. No, I don't think I will.
If you've been paying close attention to my channel over the last 2 years, you've probably noticed a lot of mentions of Shrinepunk. It's a fanfiction series that I've been working on since 2020, but I've been putting a lot more creative energy into it in the past 2 years. And since I can't be bothered to make actual Touhou lore videos anymore, I decided to break down the lore of Shrinepunk myself. Now, the world building of Shrinepunk has gotten pretty complex since I started, so I'm gonna have to break this up into a couple of videos. But first, let's get a portrait of what the world looks like at this point. The law won't save you out here, bud. The whole world is private property, and without a ticket, you're just a trespasser. The 1% has become the 0.01%. The free market sorted itself out, and as it turns out, you're just the weakest link. So you've joined the rest of us at the bottom of the food chain. It's nothing personal, you're just not a valuable person. Now stop me if you've heard this one before. The gods don't need your prayers as long as you buy their shit. Criminals are the middle class. Food is a privilege, guns are a right. If you can't buy pills, buy bullets instead. There is no faith, there is no fear. There is only money. So how did we get here in the first place? Well, it all goes back to March 16th, 2025, in the Shrinepunk universe. Some of the most powerful gods and yokai in Gensokyo conspire to break the Hourai barrier that hides them away from the outside world. What follows is a catastrophic worldwide event. Monsters and yokai flood the cities of Japan, causing mayhem and destruction, while the rest of the world looks on in horror. With global newscasts and internet live streams covering the event 24/7, belief in the supernatural exploded overnight, making the gods of Gensokyo more powerful than ever. Why settle for a few hundred humans believing in you when you can have 10 billion? With this revival of mysticism, the world stage was set for a total upheaval. The biggest players in Gensokyo spread rapidly across the globe. They founded new technology, bought out industries, and brokered exclusive contracts with world governments. By 2029, the entire world had been divided between 7 megacorporations, private entities worth more than 5% of the global GDP. Some of these megacorporations supplanted local governments, while others worked closely with world powers. The megacorporations are what we are going to break down in this video, so let's go through them in order. The first megacorporation to form was Yasaka Industries. It was spearheaded by CEO Kaneko Yasuka and co-founded by the Supreme Chairwoman Suiko Moria. Yasaka Industries dove headfirst into the urban development industry. Kaneko spoke her vision of a grand city, a fully self-sufficient trade capital to spread her name and likeness throughout the world. The beating heart of global commerce, she named this city Kanekyo. But such a wealthy and powerful city could not be built on contested grounds. Kaneko needed her city to be naturally defended from foreign threats, so she built the city underground, beneath the barren steppes of Mongolia. This area was chosen for its long-standing neutrality between Russia and China. Kaneko promised that the construction of her city would make Mongolia financially independent, and she offered an energy trade deal that would boost Mongolia's development. With the land secured, Suiko terraformed a great cavern below the Earth's surface. In this cavern, several nuclear fusion plants were constructed, which provided the power for the city's development. During this time, large volumes of energy were expended to mine Kanekyo credits, a publicly traded cryptocurrency. Yasaka Industries mined and traded these credits globally at an extreme financial loss in order to standardize them as a competitive currency. By 2030, Kanekyo was open to the public. Kanekyo opened its districts to the world, inviting workers from all nations and walks of life to enter the city. Immigrants from the United States of America gave the city its nickname, Deep City. Over the years, Deep City became the global center of trade. Credits became a globally recognized cryptocurrency, and its value skyrocketed, incentivizing corporations of all industries to adopt it. Due to its self-sufficient design, Deep City was able to operate with very low costs. For this reason, Deep City became a tax haven, as it offered free trade between corporations with little to no taxes. This cemented Yasaka Industries as not only the king of technology and industry, but also of trade. Yasaka Industries ruled for many years as the largest megacorporation in the world, but no empire lasts forever. Lunarians watched silently from their ivory towers as the world was plunged into chaos in 2025. They saw a great and growing need for safety and security, both for the humans below them and for themselves. So they broke their silence and descended to the Earth to make first contact. The LunaTech Kingdom, a monarchical city-state renowned for its technological prowess, modernized its government as a megacorporation. It aggressively purchased shares in the defense industry and began to license its own military technology to selective countries and companies. The Lunarians prepared their military, consisting entirely of lunar rabbits, to privatize. And once the pieces were set in place, a new contender was born, the Lunarian Non-Civilian Technologies Corporation, more commonly known as LunaTech. LunaTech's psionic rabbit force became prolific throughout East Asia, especially in China, where major corporations kept close relations with the moon. Eventually, the government of China amended its constitution to allow private military corporations from the moon to enlist and serve in the People's Liberation Army. With LunaTech's acquisition of the Chinese defense industry, the two entities became entangled with each other, blurring the line between private and public. For some time immediately following the barrier collapse, LunaTech held the largest share of interglobal defense industry. But hot on their heels was a contender, an old enemy who was about to ignite an ancient rivalry. Since the origin of mankind, one industry has seen no rest. As they say, the only things certain in life are death and taxes. So it's easy to see why any prospective businessman would seek to combine the two. You see, when a person dies, their soul cannot simply disappear. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only moved and distributed. And the foremost gods of mankind decided that they should have a say in where the soul goes after death. To incentivize faith and worship, early gods promised punishment to those whom they deemed sinful and prosperity on those who earned their respect. But the enforcement of such rules is not so simple. No one god has enough space or time to deal with every soul that perishes. So these gods took the most sensible action. They outsourced. For there was already a realm that exists outside of the material, a realm that seems boundless, a realm that is shaped by unusual physics and mystical properties. They called it Tartaria. We call it Hell. But Hell was already full of life by the time the gods discovered it, and the natives did not take kindly to the soul dumping that was taking place. So, they brokered a deal. The gods create contracts for souls, and the citizens of Hell get paid to torture those souls. And for additional funding, they even handled the interdimensional travel necessary to transport the souls to Hell. It's a system of brutality, and more importantly, brutal efficiency. And it was under the orders of the current goddess of Hell, Hecatia Lapis Lazuli, that all of Hell would unite under one corporate banner, Avici. For centuries past, Hell has maintained a complete monopoly on interdimensional travel, which was done through subspace. We'll talk about subspace another time, it's a whole other thing. But now that the gods have been seen by billions across Earth, the gates of Hell were overflowing with new customers. For this reason, Hecatia made official contact with Earth and began to purchase shares in the correction and defense industries. But in order to move supplies and workers efficiently between Hell and Earth, she would need several permanent bases to build subspace ports on. These ports would be placed in major cities to utilize existing logistical infrastructure. The 4 cities she purchased were Tampa, Florida, Salvador, Brazil, Newcastle, Australia, and Jaipur, India. This gave her strategic access to many densely populated cities, which would be the linchpin for her growing energy industry. You see, Hell isn't just useful for its space. Hell is also a source of caustic, an abundant chemical compound with many valuable properties. It is highly flammable and burns for a very long time, making it an exceptional fuel source when refined. The refinery process has been kept under lock and key for eons, giving Avici an absolute monopoly on its creation and distribution. Knowing that the United States was suffering from a fuel shortage due to global events, Avici began producing vehicles and electricity plants fueled by caustic, eventually growing a dependency within the US economy. This would be the catalyst for the slow conversion of the United States from a democratic nation into a corporate satrapy. With the most powerful military under their control, Avici raced to the top as the most powerful private defense corporation in the world, stealing the spot from LunaTech. So in 2025, these are the 3 biggest megacorporations: Yasaka Industries, Avici, and LunaTech in that order. But they aren't the only big players. As the other 3 battled for control over Asia and the Americas, another player took to West Europe to find business. And in the city of Munich, the headquarters of Hourai healthcare providers were built. The corporation was founded by its current CEO, Kaguya Hourai-san, but she takes more of a passive chairwoman role. Her associate, Eirin Yagakoro, is far more influential. Hourai started out as a pharmaceutical company, marketing its flagship drug, Lenixerin, or LXR for short. This drug can reverse aging and extend human life, making it extremely valuable to the oldest members of the Bundestag. This gave Hourai political leverage, which it used to subtly push for Germany to privatize its healthcare system. Once it succeeded in doing so, Hourai established a private healthcare insurance branch and became the largest healthcare provider in the country. Nation by nation, seat by seat, corrupt politician by corrupt politician, Hourai spread private healthcare across the European Union until it was synonymous with the concept of healthcare itself. Now, if this was their goal all along, starting in Germany seems like a strange decision, doesn't it? After all, Germany prides itself on its public healthcare. Well, this was because Germany holds an extremely valuable resource for Hourai: churches. Lenixerin isn't a purely material drug. It is made from magical reagents, which are a byproduct of faith and worship. Germany isn't a particularly religious country, but it is home to some of the most grand religious buildings in Europe. Buildings that are so monumental and beautiful that even the non-religious may feel a sense of spirituality while within them. And underneath these grand halls were built private faith farms, where the religious wonder of those within is harvested to mass-produce reagents. And as Hourai's political and economic power grew, their faith farms were built under Christian monuments throughout all of Europe, even in the home of the Holy itself, the Vatican. But Hourai's influence remained mostly contained to West Europe. In East Europe, a world power was forming. As Yasaka Industries was building Deep City, they employed many yokai who were native to Gensokyo. One of those yokai groups was the Tenma Enclave. This enclave consisted of Gensokyo's Tengu, who lived in a society that vaguely resembled a private corporation. For this reason, they had continuous clashes with their corporate overlords in Yasaka Industries. The leader of the Tengu, Tenma, began to preach a radical idea that yokai should not follow gods. He rallied Tengu and many other yokai under his message, and in 2027, he split away from Yasaka Industries and formed his own company, Tenma Communications, or Tencom for short. Now, starting up competition against the most powerful and wealthy megacorporation is no easy task. Even with a significant portion of Yasaka's tech workforce under his belt, Tenma knew that he would need a large country's worth of financial power to form a lasting megacorporation. So he turned to a nation that was bleeding out, both financially and literally: Russia. At this point in our timeline, Russia was recovering from its devastating losses in Ukraine. Its wealthiest allies have turned their focus to profiting from megacorporations. Russia needed an immediate technological and financial breakthrough to compete on the world stage, and it would be Tenma who would approach with such a deal. You see, what Tencom needed more than anything else was information. If they could operate a mass data collection business, they could compete with Yasaka Industries for advertising space. So as it has done so many times before, Russia took the deal at the cost of its own freedom. Tencom constructed mass surveillance systems throughout the most populous cities of Russia, building more than 100 cameras and microphones for every citizen. The skies ran black with swarms of micro-drones that kept every living creature connected to the internet and monitored at all times. Where you went, what you ate, who you spoke to, and what you said was all logged in detail. Now, this placed a massive load on Russia's telecommunications infrastructure. And without a technological breakthrough, Tencom's network would be unable to expand. So the engineers at Tencom pioneered a new method of data transmission: the Weimar Real Quantum Field Matrix. A mouthful of a name that would simply be called the Matrix. This new layer of the internet transmitted data instantly throughout the universe by encoding digital information as probability amplitudes and writing them into the quantum field. But I do not have the time to break down the theoretical physics of Shrinepunk in this video. It'll have to be an entirely separate video, so let me know if you're interested in listening to me talk about theoretical physics and a fucking Touhou fanfiction. Anyway, Tencom invented the Matrix to allow quantum computers to communicate with each other. Quantum computers at this point are still mostly used for infrastructure and research, but by the year 2045, it's the standard for consumer electronics, and Tencom is leading the charge in development. Now, something you've probably noticed about all the megacorporations so far is that their most profitable ventures have been in some sort of technology industry. Engineering, computing, physics, and biochemistry are all such valuable fields in this world that any company innovating in them will dominate the industry. And nowhere is this more apparent than in the megacorporation New Life. New Life was formed as a biotechnology research institution in 2025, but in 2028, they went private with their newly appointed CEO, Byakuren Hijiri. The founding institute believed wholeheartedly that the influx of yokai into the world would lead to a breakthrough in genetics research, and it would be Byakuren who would teach the institute the nature of humanity and yokai. Her goal was to improve the health and spiritual power of both humans and yokai by combining their genomes into a new species. New Life pioneered a new form of gene therapy known as mystic injection. This process involves injecting yokai DNA sequences into the human genome to create self-replicating magical cell structures within the body. This can be used for all sorts of gene tailoring, such as fighting genetic disorders, repairing damaged tissues, or even creating new bodily functions altogether. For some, gene tailoring became a fashion sense, as it allowed subjects to alter their appearance in ways previously thought impossible or impractical. Functional animal ears are a popular example. Now, although mystic injection is highly versatile and powerful, it is not a one-size-fits-all solution for biotechnology. It is costly, requires regular gene therapy sessions over multiple months or even years, and is not covered by most healthcare plans. This leaves it only available to the ultra-wealthy, and New Life wanted to expand their customer base to the rest of the world. So they invented a budget option: cyberware, computerized electronics that mimic and enhance your organs. New Life's subsidiary, LunaTech, founded the industry of cyber technology, from high-speed cyber eyes to powerful cyber limbs and even cyber brains. Any part of your body that you don't like can be swapped out for an electronic version. This comes at a cost, of course, and I don't just mean the price tag. You see, all synthetic body parts have to connect to your brain through nerves. Nerves are an extension of your brain, and therefore part of the you that you call you. So the more nerves you replace with fiber optic cables, the more you are replaced with code. And if you fully digitize, well, you become an empty machine. A machine that is very good at imitating you. But New Life had one major problem while they were building their corporate empire. They really had nowhere to operate. The only cities in the world that could support their science infrastructure demands were already dominated by LunaTech, Avici, or Hourai. So instead of finding a place on Earth, they set their sights on the final frontier. With an investment from Yasaka Industries, New Life was able to launch the Palanquin Cruiser, the largest subspace vessel ever created. It was a fully self-sustaining research station that could coast through subspace highways and deliver products via smaller subspace frigates. Without the ambient noise of the material realm, New Life was able to pioneer physics and biotechnology research, which they shared with Yasaka Industries as part of their investment deal. And by 2045, New Life had developed permanent subspace stations to traffic information and consumer goods. The mantra of Shrinepunk is that there is only money. And what business makes more money than the business of money itself? All of the 7 megacorporations are deeply invested in the finance industry, but the only one megacorporation who makes commerce their primary field is Desire Drive. Founded in 2029 by former CEO Sega Kaku, Desire Drive took the world of e-commerce by storm. Drive's proprietary advertising algorithm allowed the company to predict customer needs and desires down to the minute of purchase. This gave them incredible power over the companies that they licensed it to, leading to an eventual hostile takeover to form the megacorporation in 2029. At the heart of this algorithm is Tenma, a powerful artificial intelligence model. Little is known about Tenma, since Desire Drive keeps the model on intense lockdown to prevent competition. Some suspect that Tenma is the world's first artificial general intelligence, or perhaps even the first superintelligence. But more likely, it's probably just a bot with an enormous training data set poached from its predecessor corporations. Desire Drive is headquartered in Israel due to its strategic position in the Mediterranean Sea. This allows Desire Drive to control the flow of logistics through the Suez Canal and into Asia and Europe. Israel's Iron Dome also provides a layer of protection to the corporation from outside influence. Since its founding, Desire Drive has fielded the IDF as their personal security force and has been heavily involved in their foreign relations. This is especially true in their relationship with the United States, as Desire Drive has used its business partnership with Avici to preserve trade between the two regions. So here we are in 2045. The world is fully corporate, with wealth inequality higher than ever before. Crime, terrorism, and corrupt politics make life a barely livable hell. But yet, despite it all, our heroes from Gensokyo make it by as runners. Reimu, Marissa, and Nitori split an apartment in Deep City, while they scrape by with dubiously legal jobs from anonymous contractors. Meanwhile, outside of the relatively stable Deep City, dark clouds loom on the international horizon. Growing tensions between China and India are being fueled by a proxy war between Avici and LunaTech. If these two economic giants go to war, it could spell doom for planet Earth. But that has yet to be seen. So yeah, that's pretty much Shrinepunk so far. I've got a lot more to discuss, such as how magic works, how subspace works, and I've got some more general lore before Chapter 5 comes out. But let me know if you're interested. I'd love to make more videos where I just shill my passion projects. And with the launch of Chapter 4 and this video, I am happy to announce that Shrinepunk has a wiki, and it's not on fandom.com. If you want to dive into the lore that I haven't gone over yet, head on over to wiki.shrinepunk.com and deep dive to your heart's content. Also, you may notice that wiki.shrinepunk.com is a subdomain of shrinepunk.com, which is also my website. But I still have a lot of work to do on that site, so there's not much to see yet, and I'll of course keep you all up to date on its development. I'm really looking forward to producing more Shrinepunk content in the coming year. I'm learning a lot, like web development, world building, tabletop design, all from a little what-if project I started 5 years ago. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all again next time.